Hi, it's Olivia, and today I'll be sharing with you my most disappointing and surprising reads of 2017. But with that being said, I'm still reading a lot, and even though there's only like 3 or 4 days left, who knows, there might be some from these last few days that might have been included on this list, but oh well. And all this means is that for the disappointing reads that I had planned to rate them higher, and then for the surprising reads that I had planned to rate them lower. That's all I mean by disappointing, surprising. It doesn't mean that the book was bad or good, just they weren't what I was expecting in those ways. So let's get started. Before I get into it, actually there's 2 books in here that are like really, they were huge releases this year by 2 authors that I love and everyone loves, and they're huge fandoms, and they are both on the disappointing side. I'm just being honest, like I thought I was gonna like them more. Doesn't mean I'm not in the fandom anymore, just I wasn't as impressed as I thought I would be. And the first one for that, you saw it coming if you've seen my videos this year, is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. Also, I cannot escape being sick. My throat is hurting a little bit. Sorry if my voice is off. I have a whole review on this. I explain why it was disappointing to me, but bottom line is, coming off of A Court of Mist and Fury, I'm not even sure if there's a way to avoid disappointment, because A Court of Mist and Fury was like my favorite book of last year. I was and still am obsessed with that one, but it's amazing how I felt after that one was just obsession, and I was so in love with it, and I just wasn't like that at all with this one. It was, you know, things happened. I explained it more in that review. So that was the first disappointing read on the list, but the first surprising read I have on my list is this book called Illuminate. You might have heard of this, by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I was surprised by this one because I did pick up, I checked this out from the library, so I don't have it, but I was so surprised by this because I had read a few pages at Barnes & Noble a long time ago, and I didn't think I would like the way it was formatted. It was really weird, you know how it's files. It was really weird, and I didn't like it, and I told myself, you know, I'm just not going to get around to this. But countless people had said that they loved it, so I gave it another try, and I think I rated this one 5 stars. Like, it was such an enjoyable sci-fi read for me, and I love sci-fi, and it was much easier to read those files than I thought. Like, when I first read them, I thought it was going to be really difficult, but it really wasn't. Going back to the disappointing, the next disappointing one that I have is this graphic novel called Paper Girls. Now here's the thing, I think that they get better as they go along, but I think I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I just thought it was going to be something more spectacular, and the cover is beautiful. I guess another main reason why this is on the disappointing side is because of what I have next on the surprising side, which is the Saga graphic novels. Now these, oh, look how pretty they look right now. These are the last 4 that just came out, I think. I haven't read these ones because I got them for Christmas, finally. My library has not had them at all, and I can finally marathon the last of it. And you guys, I was not expecting to love these as much as I do at all. They're so much fun, and they're so, like, the drawings are awesome. If you know me, you know I don't really, until these, I didn't really read graphic novels that often, and so that's what really made it a surprise for me, was the fact that I was loving them so much. So I've mentioned these like all year, by the way. Next on the disappointed list is, another popular book. Not as popular as the last one on this list, but The Upside of Unrecruited by Becky Albertalli. It wasn't that it was a bad book. I listened to this on audio a few weeks ago. I guess I was just expecting more out of it. It was my first book that I've read by her, but I don't plan to just stop reading her. I really want to read Simon versus the Homo sapiens Agenda. This one just felt like I finished it, and it was, I remember thinking like, oh, that's it? I don't know. I just thought that there would be a little bit more to this one. Next on the surprising list, I was just talking about audiobooks. I'm going to bring up another audiobook that I listened to, which was Animal Farm by George Orwell. The one that I was surprised by, mainly because I didn't know what it was about. Like, all I knew really was that I knew of its title, and I knew that Ara Bissett loved this. That's really all I knew about it, but I didn't know if it had like a more if it had older writing style, you know, and if it would be a hard or easy read, or It feels just something that I would find boring, because I'm going to be honest, sometimes classics aren't for me, but this was such an easy, like, it was a great thing to listen to on audiobook, and I genuinely love this story. The last book I'm going to mention on the disappointing list is the second of the two that I mentioned were from huge fandoms. Like, I didn't post a review on this. I was kind of silent about it because I have all her books right here. I love this author dearly, so that's why I was disappointed in Lord of Shadows. Yes, there is a major event that happens at the very end, and I was so scared to read this because of what everyone said it was. And maybe I'm a really cruel creature, but what happened at the end didn't sadden me like as much as everyone else. Everyone was devastated. Everyone was devastated, and I just wasn't. And also, I really think that this book was too long. I really do love Cassandra Clare, and just because I don't like a book doesn't mean I don't like all of her stuff. It's just this, if I'm being truthful, I wasn't looking towards the last pages like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough pages left. I was looking at them like, I still have all these pages left. So I enjoyed my fair share of angst and drama, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting like too much. I don't know, the angst that was going on here was so unnecessary for me, like, to me. I don't know. It wasn't what I was hoping it would be. I guess the biggest disappointment for this was that it wasn't 5 stars, which is what I expected from all of her books. And the last book I'm going to mention in this video is a surprising one, and that was Eliza and Her Monsters. I always forget her name. Oh my goodness. Let me see. By Francesca Zappia. I always forget her name. This was one of those books that I was surprised by because I didn't think I was going to like it with all the hype that was going around it on BookTube. I couldn't escape this book, it felt like. It felt like all the people in my subscriptions had read this book and were talking about it. And so for that reason I was surprised by this book, but also it was so much more relatable than I had ever thought it was gonna be. I related so hard to all the online social, like the social interactions online and fandom stuff that was in the book. I was nodding my head constantly and agreeing with, I loved it. I really enjoyed reading that one. Alright, so that is all I have. If there's a book that I mentioned that was disappointing that you love, that is 100% okay, because everyone feels differently about books. And let me know what your biggest disappointments and surprises were, and I will see you in another video. Bye.